Back at the dock, we speak with Dr. Ann Allen. She's the chief classifier for this event, and she explains how people get rated.
So you're a physician, and what do? You classify people as according to the severity of their disability?
Right. We have a classification system that's sort of a rating system that allows us to put people on an even playing field. And we rate them according to their disability, but also their functional abilities in the sailboat.
Okay. Somebody's getting that done right now. Can you? We're gonna look to the side here, and could you tell us what they're gonna do as far as how they rate and what they're rating?
Sure. This is actually the functional dock test. And
there's more than one test.
Yes, we have a functional anatomical test, a functional dock test, and then a functional sailing test. In the anatomical test, we have essentially a full-on medical evaluation. And the sail test, we watch them and observe them sailing on the water. And in the dock test, we have them go get on a sonar on this type of boat that they're sailing on, and have them do what is called a tiller test, which is this.
So this demonstrates her range of motion.
Her range of motion and her ability to pull the tiller all the way through in the full range, which will affect how she's able to tack the boat if she's driving.
And also her ability to
transfer,
to
exactly,
side to side.
Whether or not she can transfer, and how she does this. And you notice with this particular individual that she actually has to let go of the tiller as she transfers, which is not very effective when you are tacking.
Especially not on a windy day like that.
Not on a windy day. So for her situation, if she was driving, she might be better off just staying on one side of the boat.
Oh, so just sail on the low side.
Right, just sail on the low side. So there are certain things that she would probably make adaptations that would help her sail in the situation. But we are documenting at this point that her ability and her difficulties with trying to drive.
Now, are there different positions on the boat that are more that a disability lends itself to? I mean, I would think that obviously the person that is dealing with the sheets certainly has to have use of their arms, that kind of thing.
Well, they do and they don't. We actually have quite a few one-arm bandits, actually.
Oh, yeah?
That do the main sheet and or trim the jib with really just one effective arm and limb. So it's not necessarily the case in that situation. We have probably most of our quadriplegics, however, are driving.
Okay.
So
because you can actually set up a little more gear there.
We can set them up so that they can steer the boat appropriately and have good control of the helm, primarily by staying on one side of the boat in their chair or in the middle,
right, and
maintain an ability to, correctly steer the course.
Okay.
So you don't see too many quadriplegics trying to do anything in the front positions in the boat.
Gotcha. Yeah, we had seen there's some people that, they really get strapped in, and there's all kinds of things that they can do to still steer.
Oh, yeah, these guys are extremely creative.
They are very creative.
They are absolutely fantastic. They come up with some amazing things, especially the quadriplegics, to help them figure out different ways that they can drive the boat.
Now what's happening is that she's going to move up to the next position?
Correct. She's going to move up to the main sheet trimmer position, and we're going to have her do our main sheet test. And primarily, the goal of this is to see if how quickly she can use hand over hand to bring the main sheet in. Now, it is, we put a little resistance on it in order to simulate some type of wind conditions.
You have two people helping you with this, obviously, and what are their qualifications? Are they doctors also, or are they measurer type people?
No, they're both also physicians. Mm-hmm. Dr. Charles Simpson is the one who is leaning on the boom so kindly, providing resistance. Who is also
his expertise to work.
Exactly. He is also a neurologist, retired from Canada, and is an international classifier. And Dr. Jürgen Schwitte is our other assistant here, who is a German physician, who is a rehab specialist also. And then Dr. Peter Van Anholt, who is a physiatrist like myself, is the other international classifier. They all have a lot of training in working with people with disabilities, with functional adaptations, and with sports medicine.
Gotcha.
So, and we're all sailors.
Right. Well, that's
So
that's the key.
the other key, is we all sail.
Well, we were out on the course earlier, and Serge I was asking about. I saw that you were out on the boat, and you were closely observing people as they're sailing. So it's a ongoing evaluation.
Right, it is. We are absolutely out on the water watching all the time, because one of the problems with the dock test is it doesn't really simulate appropriate sailing conditions.
Right.
But we couldn't. It was very difficult to include those variables. There are too many variables out on the water, so we needed a stable dock test where we could control the situation and control the environment and try to do it equally for everyone.
Right.
And then we go out on the water, watching them sail, and we rate them in a very similar fashion that we do here, but we make sure that we're right out there, and that what we saw here on the dock test is what we see out on the water.
Now she's moved up to the front of the boat here, and
This is the jib test.
she's doing the jib station.
Yep, this is the jib test. So what we try to do is have her just tack the boat, for instance, from one side to the other, and we are looking, in this situation, we're looking to see how she does in her cleating.
And they're being timed at this point.
And in her sheeting, exactly, and in her transferring. So we're actually observing transferring in multiple situations. Now,
She's pretty good at that one.
she is pretty good at that one. The jib test is actually done on a bungee cord so that we have a little resistance.
And how long has this been going on? How long has the disabled sailing?
We have been doing, the International Foundation for Disabled Sailing has been organized for over 10 years. But the sport itself has grown tremendously, especially in the United States. It has just continued to just climb.
So we have one more. There's another part to this is a physical exam kind of thing.
Right. So what Dr. Simpson and Dr. Schwitzer are doing here is trying to evaluate her trunk control, because in different level spinal cord injuries we have different levels of trunk control, whether or not it's a quadriplegic, and whether or not they're complete or incomplete, and whether or not it's a paraplegic and what level paraplegia they are, whether they're a high paraplegic or a low paraplegic. And that actually makes a difference often on whether or not how they transfer across the boat, whether or not they can get up on the rail, and whether or not they can hike out past vertical, which is another thing that we look at, is whether or not they're hiking. And if they are hiking, can they get out past vertical? So that takes a lot from a trunk control strength standpoint. And of course, in quadriplegics, depending on the level of disability, we have different abilities to use our arms, so that someone that has a even higher level injury, say a C3-4 or C4-5, doesn't have the same function in their arms and hands as maybe a C6-7. There's a little better function.
Okay. You're going to take all these evaluations, and you have criteria for each one, and then you're going to come up with a number.
Right.
And then you have a combination of numbers that go into the boat.
Right.
And then explain that to us.
The point in doing this is so that, for instance, we don't have 3 below-knee amputees, all with 7 points each on the 1 to 7 scale, racing together, because they would have a much easier time from a disability standpoint out on the water than 3 quadriplegics together, each rated 1. So the system has been combined and actually voted on by all the national authorities, so that they came up with a number of 14, saying that that's our combined point total. We don't want any more than 14 points per boat. So if our skipper is a 1 and our middleman's a 7, then we can't have any more than 14 points. So we've got 8 total. The other guy has to be 6 or lower.
I got it. So the lower the number, the more severely disabled.
Correct. The lower the number, the more severely disabled. And she will probably be a 1 after this evaluation, because on our numbering system, that's where she will probably fall with most quadriplegics, who are 1s. And most below-knee amputees, for instance, are 7s.
Okay.
So
because they have a wide range of mobility.
Right.
Yeah.
They can do quite a bit
Pretty much do everything.
Pretty much do everything that any able-bodied person can do.
So instead of having a handicapping system, you just make sure that everybody's numbers are equal.
We try to put them all
on
an even playing field. It's I guess it's a little similar to a PHRF rating system, but we just try to make it fair for everyone and allow the different disabilities to sail together.
Right.
or people with different disabilities to sail together.
We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about
it's no
that.
problem.
And the work that you're doing is fantastic.
Well, thank you very much.
To have everybody, I think everybody should go sailing.
Well, absolutely.
You're making it so everybody can. So.
Well, thank you very much. And we really, encourage anyone that's interested in becoming a classifier that maybe has a medical and a sailing background.
How would they do that?
Well, they would contact me via the U.S. Sailing Paralympic program, and we'll be happy to get them in some of our training seminars, etc. And we're also trying to start developing a little bit more of a sports medicine medical segment of that also, and get these guys in a little bit more of a strength training program and work specifically on some of their skills that are designated particularly for sailing, sport specific and crew specific skill sets. So in any case, we're welcome all comers for help if anyone's interested in assisting us.
And all comers for sailing.
And all comers for sailing. So come on out and sail with us, and there's lots of great coaching going on, and get in a boat and have a good time.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thanks for your help. All right.
As hard as you can.